Hey, brothers and sisters, what's up? This is the Reluctant Nabi back again. And this is going to be quite a telling video. One, relationships as we know it in America are dead. All right, we know why as good Afro men. All right, it's just not worth our time and trouble to try to engage in them, especially when we lose more financially trying to engage in those relationships than we would spend to get a passport and go elsewhere and live under different circumstances. All right, this is especially good for minimalists. This is why I say this is a passport message the plantation minded can't and won't grasp, to their detriment. All right, so brothers and sisters, this is the Reluctant Nabi. Let me greet everybody real quick. Hovorden hardu gudal. Olo oi to the bang. Vasas los bonjour mes amis. Kedo bawini konnichiwa. Nihani ama. Sani bonani. Jambo habarigani. Assalamu alaikum. Shalom. Kamusta ka. Kamusta porkayo. Talafa lava soy fua. All right. So, here we are, talking about this mess again and again. All right, so ain't no more you and I, you and I, you and I. No, 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 no more. All right, this is why. No one, if you look at these women, the Afro men have been so conditioned to choose something so unnatural and subpar for a relationship that no one thought, wait a minute, if any just minded men look at this picture right here. Now, this is coming, Ilyana changed my life or something. And these are the people that believe that everything can be solved with counseling. Have you done counseling? All right. You can't solve relationship problems with counseling. All right. A counselor with a degree cannot solve relationship problems. What they do is try to get you to cope with a bad situation by creating a tolerance for something that is damaging. And even though the situation and stuff don't change, what they do is they change your mind about the situation so that you now tolerate something that you did not like. In other words, they try to convince you to like that which is bad for you. What was the biblical way to deal with this? If the woman could not submit to the authority of the man, she gets the boot. Send her back to her daddy's house. Give her the left foot of fellowship. Tell her to kick some bricks. Chuck deuces. Not go to counseling where the counseling caters to the man to still give of himself to a woman that's going to be just as belligerent, because this is all tricks by the women, by people who cater to the women. What is the purpose of counseling? The women are so damn bad in many of these situations that you have to pay somebody to deal with an unnatural relationship in the natural scheme of things. All right? When the men are bad, they don't get counseling. When they get as bad as the women, they get jail. You know, the violence and stuff like that. Y'all know women violate men way more than men violate women. And y'all know when they say, well, that's why we're going to do the same sex. They have a higher violence rate than anyone. Statistically, when all the statistics come out, and when you look at the underreported of the men versus the women by far violate, physically abuse men more than men abuse women in any relationship. But the difference is that the men are taught and conditioned to accept said abuse, whereas the women are taught never to accept anything that's not abuse, but that they consider abuse, even if it's words. While they, at the same time, can use the same words that they consider abuse to them on the man. Because there is no double standards in the United States. There is only one standard, and that is for the man. The females have absolutely no standards, and they are lawless. That's why they are not worthy of being in a relationship with. You never try to fix a relationship with a lawless individual. So what do? You leave. All right. So this is what I've noticed here in my trips in Colombia. All right. I've noticed that pretty much if you hang around the beaches to pick up a woman, or if you know how to dance, as a brother looking like me, coming down here as a person that got their stuff financially set up, yep, this is pretty much what you're going to pull here in Brazil too, in many other Latin countries. Are they going to have as exaggerated figures as the BW in the United States? Probably not, because y'all are learning the hard way that them BWs are coming down to these countries and having operations, and that's not the real them. They just had stuff that was in their belly taken and put on their butt, and now you thinking you got a fine piece of stuff, and all you got is a made up, operated on, rearranged human being that is so vain that you're going to find out how toxic that thing is going to be to you. So what is the advantage when you leave the United States? Femininity, hands down, femininity. When you come to these places, all right, one, you start noticing color. Now let me say something about this color palette, the color thing. The color here are vibrant when you go to some of these places. The food is healthy when you go to some of these places. So vibrant colors, healthy food, and you're living with less stuff, which means that when you do get into any type of relationship, you're pretty much paying attention to each other and doing relationship stuff. All right. When I have been dating women here in Colombia, all right, when we go somewhere, we rarely spend any time on our phone. As a matter of fact, I might spend more time on my phone only because I'm getting messages from people outside of the in the United States. But that's about it. I'm really on my phone just to be on my phone. All right. And so what you have here is a situation where if you walk around enough, yeah, you'll be able to run across feminine women looking basically like these. And I'm not BSing. A lot of you have seen the type of women that I've been talking to. Now, I ended up in a relationship with probably a woman my complexion. All right, but that went south because she wanted to play a fool and be a clown and try to be all up in my business because she thinks that her job is that of a plantation, what do you call it? Not the slave master, but the one that watches over the plantation. Make sure nobody's getting away from something. You know, the plantation foreman. That's what she was trying to be like. Oh, I wonder what he's doing. This, that, and the other. Try to be all up in my stuff. So I blocked her from everything. All right. And because I'm not going to be your slave. That's the other option here. That's the other option. They start getting out of hand, you can say, bust a move. You're in a place where you control everything. Now, when they are good, you're going to want to be good to them because they are that good to you. So while I was talking to the y'all know the dark-skinned woman, while I was talking to her, let's say Kay, while I wanted to do for her, it was fun. It's fun as a man to do stuff for a woman that you know care about you enough in a relationship. The problem is she did not respect me as a real man and thought I was one of them little boys. You see what I'm saying? No, I'm not. No, you're not going to get my phone. Even though I lay it around and she could have looked at it, I'm not really like that. But I'm just saying, you're not going to be all up in my business, and I'm not going to let you control everything. And that's what she was trying to do. She was trying to control everything. Stop me from being who I am. I was like, oh, hell to the no. All right. So when we look at the Latino women, they have one thing in common with any other women. As soon as they get to the United States, in most cases, with the exception of Mexicans and Colombians, when they get to the United States, they change into this warped sense of what a woman is supposed to be. And they end up losing because I see the condition they are in when they go to the United States with a man. Then they turn into the feminists for the United States. Then when they end up coming back to Colombia or going back to Brazil or something, they coulda, shoulda, woulda. They talk about how they coulda, shoulda, woulda. All right. So this is why I recommend to brothers to leave the women alone, leave the simps alone. See, the plantation-minded men are not going to get this because remember I was telling you about the psychological just mind-numbing that they do on men in all these counseling sessions. The goal is to teach the man to deal with a situation that is toxic with him and stay in it. They brainwash you to maintain your position, not as the dominant male, but you're submitting to the will of the female and the state that is running her. All right. And so these Latinos that go to the United States, no. This is why I recommend that you come to places and you stay here. stay in Colombia, stay in Brazil. The whole atmosphere is healthier for you as an American Afro man. And when I say American, all of the Americas. When you leave the U.S., you have an opportunity to talk to submissive, beautiful, whether they be Caucasian or of Negro descent. If you stay out and away from the United States laws and guidelines and stuff, that by design is designed to F you over, you can have a successful and happy relationship with these women here. You can have a successful and happy life here. All right. What you do is in the United States, you work to get your money at a particular level and then leverage that money to live a better life somewhere other than the United States. At the end of the day, these resentful, miserable use isn't really worth it, right? And some of the times you have to leave and let them hit that. Yep. And that's the other problem. They need to sucker us into maintaining a life with them because it's all about making them happy for destroying us and our families and communities. And so they're trying to figure out how to let them have some company so a lot of them don't hit this wall alone. But I'm saying, brothers, they made their bed. Now let them lay in it. With that said, I'm out.